Good afternoon and welcome back. Registrar, can you please call the witness?
Good afternoon, witness number 1 and number 2. Welcome back to our afternoon proceedings. This Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters. A reminder once again that you are all under oath.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good afternoon. Mr. Sanya and Mr. Tambura.
Good afternoon.
We are happy to have you back, Mr. Sanya.
Thank you.
And the same to you, Mr. Tambura. Council, can we proceed?
Thank you. After Mr. Sanya, Mr. Tambra. Now, Mr. Tambra, we were dealing with the Bassa Area Council file 1 of 2021 before we went for the break.
Yes, lead counsel.
And I had referred you to the letter dated 29 September 2021.
Yes, counsel.
Okay. Now, I'll just go through the letter and then I will refer you to a bid evaluation table that they provided. The table doesn't have a date, but it says tabulating the evaluation of bids for 2021 projects.
Yes, counsel.
Okay. So I'll just go through the letter dated the 29th September 2021 first.
Okay.
Now they're saying that the subject is construction of concrete roads, feeder roads, and 3 bridges. It's the evaluation report from Bassa Area Council.
Yes.
They've said that as per the request, an evaluation report pertaining to the construction of 2 roads, concrete and feeder roads, as well as construction of 3 bridges, 7 pre-qualified bidders that include ATO Civil Engineering Construction, Pinnacle Group, Longian Road Bridges, Golden Quarry, Green Invest Logistics, Alcamba Stores, and Green Vision Group, respectively, were invited in order for them to bid for the procurement in question. Upon their response, a thorough review of their quotation was carried out, and others' evaluation criteria like their past performance, lead time, mechanical specification, technical specification, and their financial viability. The following observations below were made. Apart from Pinnacle Group, Green Invest Logistics Limited, Alcamba Stores, the other 4 bidders have quoted as per the specifications. That is ATO Civil Engineering, Longian Road Bridges, Golden Quarry, and Green Vision Group. ATO Civil Engineering is qualified for Lot 5, Concrete Road, based on their previous work shown in their bidding document. Therefore, Manekunda Basse, 1.6 kilometer, is awarded to them. And also based on the analysis of or prices quoted, the 3 bidders, that is ATO Civil Engineering, $18,453,540. Alcamba Stores, $18,657,590. And Green Invest Logistics, $18,970,820. And it says, despite or in spite of all the quoted different prices, ATO Civil Engineering is on the range of council budget, is on the range of council has budgeted. Therefore, for Lot 5 on Ekunda Road, they emerge as the winner, and their contract value is $18,453,540. Now, they've listed these three bidders, Ato, Alcamba, and Green Invest Logistics, and they've put the bid prices. But when you go to the bid evaluation table, let me know if you're on it.
Yes, Council.
Okay, so when you go to the bid evaluation table and you go to Golden Quarry, which is number 5, then MK005, which is the lot for Lot 5. Have you seen it?
Yes.
You see that the amount is $16,419,520.
Yes, Council.
Now, they haven't added Golden Quarry to that list that they put Eto, Alcamba, and Green Invest, even though their bid was the lowest.
Yes, Council.
Now, are you able to tell from the documents that they presented to you whether their assessment of or the evaluation of the bids in that for that lot was correct? Because you have Golden Quarry, which has a bid price of 16 million odd, and the rest of these are 18 million odd, and yet they're not on that list.
Yes, Council. I can confirm that the Golden Quarry's bid was relatively lower.
Okay.
But from the narratives, it is as if there were other evaluation criteria different from the price.
Now, those evaluation criteria, where would they be? You have an GPPA has an evaluation form, right?
Normally for bidding, it should be captured in the bidding document.
I'm sorry?
For bidding, the evaluation criteria should be captured.
No. So not the criteria. GPPA has an evaluation form that the contracts committee completes when they're evaluating the different bids.
Yes, that's a template.
Okay. And then the bidding documents would also indicate what the requirements are.
What the requirements and evaluation criteria are.
So now when you look at the evaluation form, you see they've listed the criteria. So the first column is projects or lots. The second column is performance stroke experiences. The third column says lead time. The fourth is mechanical specifications. The fifth is technical specifications. The sixth is price or bid amount. The sixth, is that six? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The seventh is financial viability. The eighth, remarks or additional information. The ninth is selected. And the 10th is proprietor. Now, if you look at Golden Quarry, for performance and experience, they've said yes. Lead time, they've said yes. Mechanical specifications, they've said yes. Technical specifications, they've said yes. The price and bid amount is provided there.
Yes.
Financial viability. Okay, there's no information for financial viability. And then there's no remarks, but they were not selected. Now, if you look at, if you go back to the letter,
Yes, Council.
at the at the end of that first page, it says Golden Quarry also emerged as winner for Lot 4, Sari Mansong, Bojo, Feeder Road, after putting the information below. It was civil engineering, $5,163,088.
Exactly.
Golden Quarry, $2,942,320. Green Invest Logistics, $4,961,330. And Green Vision, $6,177,449. And it says Golden Quarry possessed all the requirements and they quoted the lowest bids.
Exactly.
So now the evaluation table shows that Golden Quarry does not have or has not provided information on financial viability.
Exactly.
So if that was the reason, we're assuming that if that was the reason why perhaps they were not awarded the contract for Lot 5, it would stand to reason that they ordinarily should not be allocated the contract for Lot 2.
Yes, that's the presumption,
Right.
because there was no information on their financial viability. That financial viability, I think, also affects other bidders.
Yes.
Yes, affects other bidders.
So my question really is, are you in a position at GPPA, is GPPA in a position to determine from the bid evaluation whether the evaluation was actually done correctly in order to decide whether or not to grant approval for the awards? Because so,
Sorry. Okay.
did you want to say something?
No, I just want to respond to your question.
Yes, okay.
Yes. To determine the responsiveness of the bidders, normally we require the bidding documents from the suppliers, as requested by the chair of the council. I have just contacted the office, so presently the search for the bids from the respective bidders is ongoing. That would help determine as to each bidder's responsiveness as regards this particular procurement. That will help us a lot. But however, from this letter, approval is given from this letter. And normally, if approval is given from this letter, it means bids were submitted so that you can make comparison and determine their responsiveness. So I've just contacted the office and they told me that they are searching for the bids from the respective bidders.
Thank you. So after Golden Quarry, they said Longian Road or Bridges also emerged as the winner for lots 2 and 3. That is Tambalolo Bridge and Sonkunda Bridge, based on their strategic location to the site and their machineries and equipment near to the site, and also for the 50% discount offered to the contract sum. Now, for the Tambalolo Bridge, their bid amount is $8,379,363. And there's a 50% discount, and it says Sonkunda Bridge, the amount is $9,794,251, and I think 60 bututs.
Yes.
But when you go back to the evaluation, sorry, the evaluation table,
Template, okay.
you note that Golden Quarry also has the lowest bid amount for lots 2 and 3. Actually, and lot 1 as well.
Council, can we be guided on the table whether financial viability was, I don't
The table looks
I
like
don't have that. Whether financial viability is indicated for all those.
So for Golden Quarry, there's no indication for financial viability.
Yes.
Longian Bridges also, which got that, let me see, they got that contract. They don't have, under financial viability, it says not available.
Yes, yes.
So
For lot 1, did they
for
indicate one?
lot 2 and 3, the bidder that was awarded, or that they agreed to award the contract to, did not provide evidence of financial viability.
The construction of the road.
The construction,
Manekunda,
Sambalolo Bridge and Sonkunda Bridge. They agreed that Longian Road emerged as the winner for those lots, which is lot 2 and 3. Now, when you look at the bid evaluation table, you note that they did not provide evidence of financial viability. So that's the same for Golden Quarry, but Golden Quarry had a lower bid amount for those two, and neither of them have provided evidence of financial viability, but one of them with the higher amount got the contract. So that's what I was trying to get Mr. Tambur to help me establish. Mr. Tambur, do you follow?
Yes, I'm getting you. Like, as you rightly said, that's the exact situation here.
So-
Golden Quarry quoted the lowest price as compared to the awarded companies. I'm just trying to establish whether there were also other
Sure.
criteria different from the financial bid. On records, there is no trace of that.
And just to be sure, so they have said that Longian Road or bridges, based on their strategic location to the site and their machinery and equipment to the site, and their 50% discount offer to the contract sum. Now, if these were going to be criteria that would be considered in the evaluation of the bids, they would be in the bidding documents. Is that not right?
Yes, normally criteria are set for in the bidding document before this stage.
So they wouldn't, ordinarily they shouldn't give any preference to any of the bidders because of these, if they're not in the bidding
Yeah,
documents,
that's right, except for discount.
except for the discount.
For discount, yes.
But then even with the discount, their price was still higher than other bidders.
That's right.
Then you have Green Vision emerged as the winner for lot 1. That is Bajakunda Bridge with a value of 3,928,405 based on the information given below. And it says Ato Civil Engineering, $4,504,371. Pinnacle Group, $4,165,853. Longian Road or Bridges, $8,042,177. Golden Quarry, $2,406,539. Alcamba Stores, $2,660,812. Green Vision, $3,928,405. Now you have two bidders that have lower prices than Green Vision.
That's
Is that right?
That's right.
Now they have said, however, based on the analysis and information given, we, the contract committees of Basse Area Council, selected Green Vision since they are on the range of council budget, while Alcamba Stores is disqualified, even though they quoted lowest.
Yes.
In the light of the above observation, the Contracts Committee of Basse Area Council recommended that the contract be awarded to the ones that are mentioned above for conforming to specifications.
Yes.
Now-
Exactly the case, and the disqualification for Alcamba wasn't stated.
It wasn't stated, and they were under the bid evaluation table. There's nothing that has been said in the negative in respect of the different criteria, and they provided evidence of financial viability. Is that right? Whereas Green Vision Group did not provide technical specifications, and yet they were awarded the contract.
Green Vision, yes. According to the table, yes.
And you're saying that GPPA received the bid documents, or would have received the bid documents to determine whether or not to grant approval.
Yes, under normal circumstances, yes.
Now, let me just refer you to, so this evaluation report was dated 29 September 2021. Now, there's a letter dated 8 June 2021 from Bassa Area Council,
June. I have here 18 June.
sorry, yes, 18th June, 18th June 2021.
Yes.
Now, from this letter, it's clear that, so it says tendering result unsuccessful, and it's addressed to Green Invest Logistics Limited. It says, with reference to the tender submitted by your company for the description of works required, we regret to inform you that your company has not been selected for the provision of work due to your similar work and other evaluation criteria. The selected companies are Eto Civil Engineering, Longian Road Bridges, Golden Quarry, and Green Vision Group. If you have any queries, please contact Usman Ture, Chief Executive Officer, and Yaya TBCC, Planner Engineer of Bassa Area Council. Thank you for taking part in the tendering exercise, but still room for opportunities to come again. And it's stamped and signed. Excuse me. And the stamp is again dated the 18th of
June.
June 2021. Now it is clear that from the date, they had already evaluated the bids as at 18th of June 2021.
Yes, because this letter can only come after evaluation.
Right. Now, the evaluation report that they've sent to your office is dated 29 September 2021.
Yes, it's dated with a handwritten pen, 29 September 2021, yes.
And would they not have to send, do they not notify the winner and the unsuccessful bidders after they've received approval from your office?
Yes. The notification can only come after the evaluation and the subsequent approval from the authority.
Now, I refer you to GPPA's letter dated the 12th October 2021.
Yes, Council.
And you're saying that the heading is construction of concrete road, feeder roads, etc. We refer to your letter dated 29 September 2021 relative to the above subject matter, which refers, following careful review of your submission, please be informed that approval is hereby granted as follows. Lot 1, construction of Bajakunda Road to Green Vision at a price of $3,928,405.
Yes.
Lot 2, construction of Sambalolo Bridge to Longian Road construction at a bid price of $4,189,681.
Correct.
Lot 3, construction of Songkunda Bridge to Longian Road construction at a bid price of $4,897,125.
Correct.
Lot 4, construction of Mansong Sare Bojo Road, feeder road to Golden Quarry at a bid price of $2,942,520.
Correct.
And Lot 3, I think that should be Lot 5.
I think it should be 5.
Yes, it should be Lot 5. Construction of Manikunda Road to Eto Civil Engineering at a bid price of $18,453,540.
Correct.
Please note that this decision of the authority is based on the recommendation made by your contracts committee in its minutes of the meeting dated 10th March 2021, as per the powers bestowed on the said committee by Section 47 and 49 of the Act. In addition, please provide the authority with a copy of a notice of award for records. Finally, you are reminded that the 60% of fees collected from the sale of bidding documents shall be paid to GPPA. So your approval for the award was actually given several months after they had already done the evaluation and notified the unsuccessful bidder. Is that not right?
Yes, because the approval is dated 12 October.
Yes.
And their evaluation.
The evaluation report is 29 September.
September.
And the notice to the unsuccessful bidder was 18th of June.
Yes, so it means, as per the date here, the notice came before.
And these are documents that they would send to you before they sent it to you when they're seeking approval. Is that not right?
For the notification, it is only after getting the approval.
But when did your office receive the notification?
Yes, this notification, I'm not sure whether it was part, because it is not stamped anyway by the office, but I'm not sure whether it was part of the...
The bundle that it comes with would be, the top document would be what is stamped.
One stamped, yes.
And that is the request for approval, is that not right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Under normal circumstances, this should not be part of the submission to the authority during the evaluation stage. It only should come after the approval. It should have come after the approval, after the 18th of October, after observing the standstill period, in fact.
So I understand that, but what I'm saying is, considering that these are documents that came to your office, and the only document that came, sorry, the last document in that file would be your letter of approval, is that not right?
Yes, as per this file, yes.
So you file it according to how the documents come?
No, yes.
So the notice of award would have come before your letter going out saying that it's approved? The 18th of June letter?
After.
Ordinarily, it should come afterwards, but this one did not come afterwards.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is this not something that your office would have seen? And regardless of all the other issues that are contained in the evaluation process, is this not something that your office would have seen and known that there's a problem?
Yes, definitely yes. And in fact, the only notice, the unsuccessful notice is just to one supplier, and normally it should be to all the suppliers.
Yes, and that's the supplier that did not win for any of the lots at all.
Yes.
Because all the other suppliers won for one lot,
Yes.
at least.
Yes.
And this was, the letter was signed by Buba Jata.
Approval, yes.
Is he still with your institution?
Sorry?
Is Buba Jata still with your institution?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chairperson, I don't know whether you have any questions on that file.
This one is-
Commissioner Joyner has a question.
Mr. Taura, my question to you is, after your evaluation and approval, after your approval, and what do you do a follow-up, one, to see whether these projects have been completed, and two, do you also, since you are a government institution, do you see that, I know you will tell me it's not your domain, that the taxes that they should pay to government are paid? Because you're talking about 18 million, 3 million, 6 million awards, contract awards. Now, my question is, do you just approve and forget it, and you don't do a follow-up to see whether those projects have been completed, and two, whether these people have paid the requisite taxes to government?
Thank you, Commissioner. Follow-ups, most of the time is done during our post-review exercises. Most of the time we do follow-ups. But this has been a concern, and it was discussed, sincerely speaking, at management level, that there is a need for follow-up, because for obvious reasons, this was really discussed, but most of the time during our post-review exercises, we do follow-up just to see, confirm that these things are really as approved. And most of the time we also ask the institution to complete a particular form. That's the record of supplier performance assessment. That form is normally completed at the end of the whole project to indicate the success stories, failure, challenges, etc. So we always request institutions to do that. In the area of tax, of recent, most of our letters, you can verify that from our records, we always indicate the need for the payment of taxes. We always indicate that of recent, but that hasn't been captured here. But of recent, we have also realized that, and most of our letters has that provision that you are required to ensure that taxes are paid. Yes.
As a follow-up question to that, is in your statements, I think some amount of monies are to be paid. Is it 60%?
Yes, that's for the bidding document.
The bidding documents,
Yes.
yes. But that, you emphasize that in one of your letters. If
Yes,
I could,
we do.
you emphasize that.
We do.
That I'm just thinking,
Okay. In
why
fact-
can't you not do the same
Okay.
for the government taxes? Because you are a government subvented institution.
Yes. In fact, let me buttress further. You can also verify the authority, GPA, has also met GRA on this issue. We've met 2 or 3 times at management level with a view to signing an MOU to ensure that all procurements that comes to us, we make follow-up on taxes, withhold, whatever. That those meetings were conducted at GRA headquarters. We had that, and the final outcome will be an MOU. In fact, a draft MOU has already been signed between the 2 institutions, and the purpose is just exactly what you have, just your concern. To address your concern is the purpose of that MOU.
Mr. Samura, thank you very much. I think your last statement is going to complicate the whole issue. It is mandatory, according to law, that all procuring institutions must deduct the tax from source, the holding tax. So if you want to go in there and be part of the tax, it makes it very cumbersome, because if I am a city council, I give out a project of 5 million, I have a responsibility to deduct the withholding tax as the council and pay it to GRA. So I'm not sure what role I going to play within the already established setup.
Thank you, Commissioner. As you rightly said, I think the intention is just to just a reminder. Yes, so that when we write our letters, just like the 60%, we write to remind them, because just to remind. Yeah, we're not actually trying to be part of the domain. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Tamura, if you look at the letter that was referred to you by lead counsel, dated the 12th of October, the third to last paragraph indicated that the PO indicated that the decision of the authority is based on the recommendations made by the contracts committee.
Yes.
And it made reference to the law. Now my question is, was section 49A complied with by the PO in these transactions
Check 49A.
to warrant you to write indicating that they complied?
Confirm.
Section
49A.
Section 49A.
Let me read Section 49A.
Yes,
Functions of the contrast committees.
yes.
The functions of a contrast committee shall include the following. A,
Yeah.
verification of proper procurement planning and availability of funds.
Yes, so in this file, did you see any procurement planning for Bassa Area Council? And at what point, and is there any evidence in the file to show that Bassa Area Council has the funds to do all these projects?
Yeah, from the records here, the column to tick whether the procurement was planned for or not is left vacant.
Yes.
And funds availability, confirmation of fund availability is not also ticked.
Yes.
The only signature is the the Director of Finance signature.
So without being a procurement specialist, from reading this, a layman like us, would we be able to assume that proper planning was made and the availability of funds are there?
Definitely no.
All right, and in the list of contractors that were awarded these contracts in Basse, we have not seen, as we were taken through in other POs, where when bids are assessed, there is a checklist of whether they are registered, whether they have business registration, whether they are registered with the authority, and all those issues. For this evaluation, we have not seen that kind of assessment being done, and which is a requirement from your office. So why is that not done? Because here, all we see is a narration by the contracts committee, and with no evidence of them qualifying on all the items that are specified in the bid documents. Because we are assuming that you went through the bid documents and you've confirmed that they have complied with everything that is in the bid document, as provided for also in your forms.
Yes, Chair. A detailed evaluation report would have helped address those issues, whether they are registered, they are assessed, etc. But unfortunately, in this case, the evaluation report was very scanty, so it was devoid of those information.
Yes, we can see. Let me be very specific. You look at some of the projects that were implemented by, were said to be implemented by KMC. You could see that aside from the evaluation report, they have a matrix where, as indicated in your forms, they have metrics where they have indicated, you understand, item by item, you understand, whether they paid for bid security, how much was the bid security, whether they have registered, whether they have provided the guarantees necessary. All this information is lacking when it comes to these projects, and these are major projects.
Major projects
that were implemented.
Yes,
so is this also an oversight by the technicians to send it back? Because nothing is done with respect to really following procedure as is laid down by the authority.
Yes, yes, like all those that you mentioned here, because these are our templates itself.
Yes.
So all those templates are missing here, because the templates will capture all those things, the bid security, all that you have mentioned.
Yes, and yet still, after all that, on the 12th, you convey your approval.
Yes.
For all these lots, and you wouldn't know whether they fulfill the actual requirements of the bidding system, that is the process. Because we have really been schooled by Mr. Sanya that procurement is a process. Yeah. And we very much now appreciate the process. So when we see a document and when we see, when we are given a file, we straight away know whether this has complied by any stretch of imagination, the requirements that have been set forward. So we've not seen any of those things here in this file.
Yes.
All we see is a note written, because that the contracts committee meeting, because if you see, why I'm making the comparison is because you cannot cherry pick. If you set standards, you must observe them. Yes, in KMC you ask for certain standards, and they were provided. And in Basse, you did not ask for the standards, and yet still you went ahead and approved.
Yes, you are exactly right, Chair. Yes, regarding
so likewise, in certain projects also in KMC, you understand, you close your eyes to so many procedural requirements that ought to be done, which are on the files. So it's like, you know, it's as a matter of convenience. when it comes to approving these things. That standard system is not used.
Yes, Chair. I have just requested for the checklist regarding what we looked at during approval process, and it may be provided before the end of our session or tomorrow first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And this is what is expected from technicians to really observe
Yes.
before action is taken.
Yes. If you look at also the GPPA form 013, record of tender opening, you could see that so many information is missing from this form. And the only thing that is contained in the form is the tender sum and the name of the company. That's all. Is this how the form is structured? Is this the correct form that they have used? Because I have seen form 013 in other POs, which is more detailed and comprehensive. And every item in the form was responded to. This is form 013, record of
Tender
opening. Yes.
Yes.
And they said it's GPPA form. Is this
the form? Though I know one thing, we revise our forms.
So, but this one, by looking at it, is it the correct form that they used here?
Yeah, this was the old form, the correct form that we are using. So
when did you introduce the new form that had the detailed information, which is different from this? Because we've seen forms which are different.
yes,
from
those are the new forms.
Yes.
It was after
and
the
this is a contract in when? In 2021?
yes. Actually,
So-
they should have used the new forms.
So you allow them to use the old form which does not give any information and indication. Because that's what it is telling us. So this one also was a mistake or was an oversight?
Yeah, I'm sure it must have been an oversight. But one thing I know, when the new forms were developed, almost all institutions were communicated to start adopting the new forms, and there was a publication also that there are new forms accessible from our website. All that was done.
Okay. Is it a requirement that the bidder that the unsuccessful bidder the PO is obliged to write to the unsuccessful bidder? Is it a requirement under the rules or the regulation?
Yes, ma'am.
And then if you are written to, do they give you the reason as to why you are unsuccessful?
According to the law, that's what we call the briefing. Normally,
No, in the letter conveying the fact that you are unsuccessful, do they highlight as to why you are unsuccessful? Do they give you reason in
Yes.
the letter?
you mean in this very letter or
No, what I mean
on
is
normal, okay.
normally, as normal practice, do they convey to you why you were not successful
Normally it's on request, according to the law.
according to the law?
Yeah, on request.
So
That's what
you
we
are
call.
just written to without giving reason. So when you want to appeal, how do you know that the reason given to you is not satisfactory? If only you are just told that you are unsuccessful, full stop.
That's what I'm saying. Because normally, that's it's a law issue.
Yes.
But normally, when you are written to, most people, regardless of that provision, they will tell you the grounds for the rejection of your bid, because that helps that particular supplier to work on his weaknesses, for example. So that's why the good practice is like, once you have been written to about the notification, the grounds for the rejection of your bid should be stated. That's the good practice. What the law
What
is,
is law is saying? Can you refer me to the law, please?
it's, that should be the briefing. 30, 30 something. Check 32.
Section 32.
Okay, let him just read there. Read.
Section 32, debriefing
Rules or law
of the
The
law.
act, the act.
of the Act 32.
Yes.
Read.
A procuring organization shall, on request, communicate to a bidder the grounds for the rejection of its application to pre-qualified or of its bid.
Is that the only section that is dealing with writing to the unsuccessful bidder?
Maybe the regulations are not very-
Maybe the regulation, but for the act, that's the,
That's the only provision.
yes. that's
What about the regulation? It must contain the. It must contain a provision directing you as to what should be done. Because I am of the opinion that if you are written to, given the fact that you have a limited time frame to appeal or to send your appeal to the complaints board for being rejected in a bid, I think I may be wrong, but reasons for you being rejected ought to be communicated to you, so that upon receipt of that letter, you know that you have this time frame to appeal, and also you have an idea of why your bid is not successful, and wherein you feel you are unfairly treated, you can file in your complaint before time. Because if you are just given the letter with no information, and if you don't know that you can write, because not everybody can read the legislation to understand what they are entitled to. So I think as best practice, these are communications that you need to give to the POs so that people are treated fairly.
Yes, Chair, that's right. That's why I said initially that the best practice is, even at the initial stage, the grounds for the rejection of your bid should be stated. I say that this is a constraint, and I think it's a learning curve.
Yeah, Mr. Sanyan, kindly check whether it is in the regulation and we give
Yes,
it.
I have
So,
seen,
Mr.
okay,
Yeah?
sorry, I have seen something like Regulation 90, the briefing of unsuccessful bidders.
Regulation
Regulation 90.
90, okay. Yes?
The information required by Section 32 of the Act shall be provided in writing within 7 days of the date on which the request is received by the Contracts Committee, and shall include a general description of strengths and weaknesses of the requestor's bid, and B, the characteristics and relative advantages of the bid selected, but not without revealing any proprietary information.
Proprietary information. So you see why I said it is important to make reference to, for you as an institution, to guide the POs, to make reference to the provision of both the rule and the regulation in conveying the message to an unsuccessful bidder, so that the person will be guided to refer to the relevant law and know what he or she is required to do under the circumstance. Yes, now, given that as it may, looking at the minutes, there are 2 minutes here, and none of them is dated. Why didn't you raise any issue? Because nobody knows when these minutes were done. Or do you have an idea? Because nothing in the
we have seen the minutes, 2
Yes.
minutes. Yes.
And even the names of the persons that attended for example, the minutes of the bid opening. There was no date, and the second minutes, it is in the first opening paragraph that they indicated that the committee met on the 10th of March
Yes.
to discuss the ways and means to plow back to. So we wouldn't know the 10th of March, when was this other meeting held, whether it was before or after. So would this not have required you to write back to them for clarification?
That's right, Chair.
Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Registrar.
Now, sorry, let me just ask the last question. For all of these contracts that we've mentioned, have they been executed? Do you know?
No, Council, we have not made follow-up as of now.
So you wouldn't know whether any of these contracts have been implemented?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Now, Mr. Tambura, there's a requirement that all contract awards. Mr. Tambura?
Yes, yes.
There's a legal requirement that all contract awards by the procuring organizations are published. Is that not right? Under your act?
Yes, they should be published.
Now, do you have any instances where this was done? Are you aware of any instance where procuring organizations have published contracts that they have awarded?
Not to my knowledge.
And for most of the files that you have provided, there are hardly any contracts that have been entered into and sent to your office.
So far, no.
There are a few, I think one or two. There's
Yeah.
been contracts that were sent to your office to show that they signed,
The
but
contract.
for the most part they aren't. And this is a requirement.
Exactly.
So are these issues that come up when you do your post-reviews? Is it post-review, your post-review audits?
Yeah,
Or are these issues that you bring up when you go for your audits?
For the publication, we normally advise them to publish it either in their website or the
Yeah,
GBPA's.
the act actually says that it needs to be on the media. So it's not just their website and not just your website.
Yes. What I'm saying, we also advise them to even send it to the office so that we also publish it in our website. That's what I'm saying. In addition to the media.
So are there any sanctions for them failing to do so?
This has never been done.
Okay. I don't know, were you given the file? There's a Bassa Area Council file 2 of 2022. Mrs. Anyang, is that for you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I refer you to a letter from Bassa Area Council dated 20th February 2022 and is addressed to your authority. It has a GPPA stamp in the front showing that you received it.
Yes, 20th
February
February.
2022.
Yes.
Now, this letter was received on the 10th of March 2022 by your office, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they're saying that with reference to the above, it's reconstruction of the market. With reference to the above caption, the management of Batha Area Council hereby writes to your noble office for the reconstruction of the market around the garage or within for the women vendors for facilitating their trading activities. However, the amount of $2 million only was given to council by the government as conditional grant in order to implement the project. We're looking forward to your approval. Now, can you tell me what you understand from this letter? Are they, because it doesn't look like they're asking for anything. Or would you say,
The letter didn't indicate whether they are requesting for approval of a procurement method and so on. It's not clear in the letter.
Okay. So I refer you as well to their contract committee meeting. It's an evaluation report. It says contract committee evaluation report for the bid submitted by the contractors. It's dated 4th of March, 2022. And it's from Bassa Area Council. It looks just like their letters.
Okay.
You've seen it?
Yes.
So they're saying that the Contracts Committee of Bassa Area Council met on the 3rd March 2022 to evaluate the contractor's bid submitted to Bassa Area Council for the reconstruction of the dry season market for the women vendors for their trading activities. However, the contract committee looked into their bids submitted and the criteria were set by the management. Based on those criteria, the contract committee is hereby recommending the most responsive contractor to be awarded for the reconstruction of the market, that is Alcamba Stores General Construction and Supplier, for fulfilling and satisfying the procuring organization interest. Now, that evaluation report is dated the 4th of March 2022. And you have agreed that the letter you received that is talking about the approval is dated 10th of you received it on the 10th of March 2022.
Correct. Yes.
Now, can you tell us a situation where that is possible? Because if you received the letter on the 10th of March 2022, you could not have given approval before that date, is that right?
Yes, it's not possible. Yes.
Pardon? It's correct. All right. Thank you. Now, I refer you to the form 004, which is the record of request for quotation.
Yes.
Now, they have said that the estimated value of the procurement is $2 million.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, is this one of the procurements that can be done by way of RFQ? Because first of all, it's the construction of a market, so that would fall under works. Is that not right?
$2 million is above the threshold for RFQ.
For RFQ. So they should not have done it by way of RFQ, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And is RFQ, sorry, let's just refer to the act so that we're consistent. It says condition for use of request for quotations. And it said, this is section 43 of the GPPA Act 2014. And it says conditions for use of request for quotations. It says requests for quotations may be used for the procurement of A, readily available commercially standard goods, not specially manufactured to the particular specifications of the procuring organization. B, small works, or C, routine services, where the estimated value of the procurement does not exceed the amount set in the regulations. Now, the amount set in the regulations is $1 million. Is that not right?
Yes, correct.
So he said that this is not the proper method to use for this procurement. Okay,
Correct.
so if you go to page 2 of Form 004, I think they've listed the 3 bidders as Al-Balde Consulting and Construction, Al-Kamba Stores General Construction and Supplier, and Al-Kawthara General Construction Company. And they've stated that Al-Balde is non-responsive, Al-Kamba Stores is responsive, and Al-Kawthara is responsive. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
And in respect of the GPPA registration, Al-Balde's own is 2021. Can you tell us the years that they, or what they've indicated for each one?
Yes, that's the GPPA registration. When suppliers registered, they are assigned numbers. So this is the GPPA registration number assigned to the...
There's a number and then there's the year, right?
Yes, there is a number.
I mean, there's the GPPA registration number, and is there a column for the year in which, either the year that they registered or the year that for their last registration or renewal?
Actually, as far as this form is concerned, there is no provisions for the year to be indicated.
Okay, so the indication of 2021 is what? For Al-Balde Consulting?
I want to believe that the not registered for 2021, they are indicating that this particular contractor is not registered with the GPPA for 2021. But that is not part of the form. It's been written.
And then Al-Kawthara would be what? 2016?
Actually, I have seen your point, but I need to verify why 2021 and 20, but because it's not part of the form.
Okay, can you
It's not
verify?
part of
and
the template.
could you verify that? And then, actually, don't worry. There's another table. There's a tabulation. Is it tabulating the evaluation for bids for 2022 project at dry season market? Have you seen it? It should be a table that covers most of the page, and I think some of it is gray. If you need assistance, the assistant registrar can pass over the file.
Can you help, please?
Have you seen the table?
Yes.
Okay, so you have several rows and columns, and then first column is the numbers, the next one is the bidders, contractors, the next one is qualification, the next one is registration, GPPA 2022, the next one is performance or past experience. After that you have reasonable bid price, and then bid price, bid amount. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
So for Alcamba Stores, general construction and supplier, for qualification, they've said yes. Business registration, registration GPPA 2022, they've indicated 2021. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, what do you understand from that?
Again, I am not sure whether it's indicating the year of registration or not, but I want to believe that
Okay.
this is indicating that the registration was in 2021.
But then the top, under the column, it says that it's saying registration GPPA 2022.
Correct.
And
yes.
what do you understand from that?
Now, during this dispensation, this act, registration was not an award. Registration is an award criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you can bid even though you are not registered, you can compete and then
Under which
register.
act?
The 2018.
Can you show us that provision, please?
2014, 2018. In order to register,
But Mr. Sanya,
yes,
you have told us here in your evidence that the requirement is that POs, if they are contracting with any service provider or contractor, you understand, that person must be registered with GPPA. And this was a question I asked pursuant to the person not registering with the Ministry of Justice. You said no, because the first thing you look for, or the first thing GPPA looks for, is that they will not accept a contractor who is not registered legally with the law. So if a supplier or a contractor comes to your office, that person would have already been registered under the law. Is that not what you told us? I'm just paraphrasing your evidence.
Honorable, if I said that, it must be a mistake. But what I emphasize here is that for the old dispensation, registration is an award criteria that suppliers can compete and only register. They can register when the crime is when they are awarded contracts without being registered, but they can contest. This new act, registration is a requirement before you even compete.
So then it was not a requirement to register. The contractors need not register with GPPA.
Non-registration cannot stop anybody from competing. But even if you win, you should not be given public funds without registering with the authority. You can compete. When you win, you register.
Mr. Sanyang, we just want to be clear. You know, here we are not the experts. You are the experts, and you are helping us understand. Because where you are sitting, the institutions will come and clarify to us some of their activities. And for us to be in a position to appreciate what they did, whether they did the right thing or the wrong thing, you should help us understand what is your position. If we are clear about what is your position, together with what the law is saying, then we are able to ask the POs the relevant questions. So now I am asking, so that because everything we say is recorded, we can go back to the record and listen to it.
Correct, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So now what I am asking you is, you said now is a requirement. So I am asking, then is it not a requirement for intending bidders, contractors, whatever you call them, to register with your organization if they want to participate in procurement activities with public institutions?
Let me refer you to this section of the Act, and then I will explain further.
Brilliant.
Section 24, eligibility. In order to be awarded a public contract, suppliers shall be registered with the authority in accordance with regulations made under this Act.
Yes.
Our interpretation at the authority level of this section of the Act is like registration is an award criteria that a supplier must register before a contract is awarded to him or her. But that should not stop you from competing. You can compete even though you are yet to register. That is why I made mention of the current Act. For the current Act, Tambura, you've seen that section. For the current Act, you cannot even compete because we have seen some weaknesses here and there as far as the Act is concerned.
Okay,
for the current one, you must.
Just hang a minute. So you are explaining to us that there were circumstances when contracts were awarded, but the awardees at some material time, they did not register with your institution, and they can do that after they have received the award.
By law, I'm not sure what you mean, but for our understanding, contract award is when you sign the contract. Excuse me, I'm coming.
Yes, no, wait, let me just, you said, you understand, it's not necessarily that you are not to participate in the process. Even you can participate in the process even though you are not registered.
Yes.
But then you cannot be awarded the contract until you register. So
Correct.
I am saying, has there been circumstances where somebody wins an award but is not registered, so he is allowed to register so that he can go to the next level?
Yes, yes.
That there has been those?
Exactly, yes.
So now how can you explain, Mr. Sanya, that passing meeting the criteria of the law in terms of registering and complying with tax issues if he was not registered before? And he's just registering now after having the award. And you said it is possible, there are situations that has happened like that.
I am saying that a contractor will never be given public funds if he or she is not registered with the authority. And to register with the authority, tax clearance is a requirement. So if you win a contract, before you are awarded, you must go and you must register with GPP. And when you come to GPP, obviously you must show that you have already cleared your taxes.
Yes, Honorable.
Yes. Sorry. Mr. Sanya, I'm confused completely. We have been dealing with GPPA for many, many years, and the number one criteria is that you must register. Now, if you are telling us that the registration is not mandatory, and then there is shall in that clause, what are we talking about? Now, you are saying you can compete. You compete, you win, and then you go and register. Is that not putting other people at a disadvantage who have already spent money registering? So what is going to happen? I'll keep my money, compete, win, and then I register. If I lose, I move on with my money. Is that correct?
You were asking whether it is correct?
Yes, yes or no?
Remember that, Honorable, this act that we are using passed through you people, the National Assembly, assented to, and we,
No, wait,
this is what is guiding our operations.
When you say you, don't talk about me. It was a whole National Assembly.
Sorry.
Let's look at it. I'm just looking at the disadvantage it is putting certain people on, because I don't register. I compete.
Sorry, Mr. Silla, but we may be talking at different perspectives. But what the law has provided is very clear. So I don't think the issue of the National Assembly will come into stage, because the intention of the legislators here is very clear. The reason why you ask for the documentation, you do not want a situation where a supplier, a bidder, you understand, or an awardee comes to you without having first registered as a business entity that is compliant with the law. Because
Correct.
if you have to have a tax clearance, it means you've been doing business over a period of time, at least minimum of 1 year, for you to be able to get tax clearance. Is that not correct?
Correct.
Yes. So if, for example, you are now given the award, it is now that you are registering with GPPA. What if you have not been doing business over the period and you cannot produce tax clearance? Because GRA will not give you tax clearance if you don't do business and they did not see evidence of your quarterly payments to warrant them to give you clearance.
Correct.
Is that not the situation?
Correct.
Yes.
Honorable, if maybe I use a different thing, but let me further clarify that. Now, that is why documents periodically are reviewed. And perhaps some of the explanations that you are forwarding are some of the reasons why this particular section of the Act is now amended.
What
And
is
you
the
are
new
right.
section? What
In
is
the new dispensation,
No, the amended, read me eligibility on the 2022 provision. Go to eligibility on the 2022 provision. Eligibility, Mr. Tamura, correct me, is section 32.
32.
If there is no order, I think it's section 32.
The old one, the new
The new one. For the old one is 24.
Chair, I'm just trying to establish the exact provision, but
Yes.
I don't think whether that provision falls under eligibility in the new act. So I'm just trying to verify
Yeah.
exactly where is it.
I could follow is either in this act or in the regulations.
Go to 32 of the new act, which is talking about eligibility and qualification of economic operators. It says, notwithstanding section 31, and unless otherwise specified in the solicitation documents, that is form 100, right? Participants in the invitation to bid and in award of contracts shall be open on equal terms to natural persons, companies or firms, association or public or semi-public agencies. B, cooperative societies and other legal entities governed by public or private law. And C, joint ventures, consortiums or association of firms who shall be registered with the authority in accordance with the regulations made under this act.
So,
Yes? Mr. Tamra?
Yes, Chair. If you check under the new act, the section you have just reference to 32,
Yes.
you will realize that the emphasis participation
Yes.
was absent under the old act.
Okay.
So I'm sure that's what my colleague meant.
Okay. So,
The old act is said to be awarded. This one is said to participate.
yes.
so what I was emphasizing is like registration was not
Well,
an
maybe
award
It's
criteria.
your understanding, but to us it may mean it's just use of semantics. Because what the old act is saying is that in order to be awarded a procurement contract, suppliers, shall be registered with the authority. So it's more generic here. Participate or not participate. Before you are awarded, you must participate. So I believe that it's the use of the draft person semantics in adding all this. These are drafting skills and whatever they use.
I think
the
that
provision of the act is one and the same.
I think that
is my understanding.
I think it's still,
I may be wrong.
I think
because
it's
I'm not
still
a judge.
clear based on your explanation, because you
Yes.
must participate
Yes,
before you award.
You are awarded.
Exactly.
So if
Here
you come
in
and
the
say
old
again-
one, sorry.
Yes. If you now come back and say participation, but this is just trying to qualify the preceding words that are being used. That is participation in the invitation in bids
Correct.
and in award of contracts. So
Our interpretation at GPPA level is like participation is since at the beginning.
yes,
You participate.
before
You
you,
can-
are considered.
Exactly. Here, before you even participate, you must register. The other one is you can participate, but you cannot be awarded unless you register with the authority. Because in procurement, we have what we call a procurement cycle. An award of contract even comes at the last tail of the procurement cycle, meaning other processes must have taken place before the award. So here what we are saying is, if you don't register, as far as the new law is concerned, you cannot even participate. But for the first one, you can participate up to award stage, and then you are allowed to register.
That was your understanding of the act, right?
Exactly,
Yes, Chair, sorry.
Let us just briefly. You want to say something?
Sorry, like, if you check the two provisions, the old one versus the new one, we have awarded in the old one. But this one is saying both participate and award. It's bringing two things at the same time.
Okay.
That has been our understanding.
Okay.
And but like, interpretation, the learned lawyers know better, the literal golden and mischief, so they understand better. Thank
Okay.
you.
Just possibly, maybe we just discuss quickly this issue. You are referring to, is it section 24
Yes.
of the 2014,
Yes.
which talks about, in order to be awarded a procurement contract, suppliers shall be registered with the authority in accordance with the regulations. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
Yes.
And so therefore, going by this section, you are only much more focused on at the point where the contracts are being awarded.
Exactly.
So what do you understand by qualification of bidders? Because before that section, there is a whole, you have section 22 all the way to section 23 that talks about qualification of bidders, post-qualification, pre-qualification of bidders.
If you, the same law, the old one, I'm sorry, section 22, qualification of bidders.
Yes.
Yeah, here, it is not only about the award here. It's talking about the competence.
The process.
Yeah, the bidder itself, the
Yes.
qualification. So it's talking about both their competence,
Yes.
capacity, technical capacity,
Yes.
the muscles, financial muscle,
And also legal capacity to enter into
legal
contract.
capacity to enter in the contract. All those things put together
Yes.
would constitute qualification.
Qualification.
Of bidders, yeah.
And that has nothing to do with the point of awarding the contract, but the stage of the bidding process.
Yeah, do you know, like,
Is that correct?
yes.
Now, one of the, if you turn to page, section 22, first it states that the principles and rules in this section applies to the determination by the procuring organizations of the qualifications of a bidder at all stages of the procurement proceedings, including pre-qualification proceedings.
Yes.
Now, this section is referring, or they are referring to the procurement stages, all stages, that the bidders that you are dealing with must be qualified bidders. And there are sets of rules or regulations or conditions that will determine as to whether a particular bidder is qualified or not. It's not the case.
Yes.
Now, if you turn to subsection 3, it states, in order to qualify for the award, that is, to even qualify the process of a procurement contract, a bidder shall demonstrate to the satisfaction of the procuring organization that A, it possesses the necessary professional and technical qualifications, but B, it has the legal capacity to enter into the contract. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
Now, what is the legal capacity? Is it not the case, in fact, you told us numerous times, Mr. Sayang, that for a supplier or a business entity to be qualified, they must be registered with GPA?
That's
Is
one.
registration not the bedrock of having legal capacity to enter into a contract in procurement?
Yes, that's fundamental.
That is fundamental.
Council,
So
yes.
therefore, registration, you cannot discard registration here. If you only look at section, this section, is it 24? You will be misguided, because the legal capacity here is saying that the fundamental rule is that all business entities that want to benefit from procurement, they have to be registered with GPA, and that gives you or completes the legal status. Is that not correct? In addition to you registering with the Attorney General's office, you have to register with GPA. Is that correct? Not the case.
That's perfect.
So that is what this section is talking about. So that the registration is not only relevant at the awarding stage of the contract, but it's relevant even at pre-qualification stage, in all stages. Do you agree with that? Do you understand that?
Okay, that's what my colleague said. That has been our
No,
understanding.
do you understand it now?
Yeah.
Actually, based on your explanations,
Yes.
because I think you understand the processes involved in coming out with a law.
Yes.
Yes, we are laymen. Our background is procurement and the like. That is why when we draft, we'll subject it to review
Yes.
and to adjust it to that legal language by the Ministry of Justice.
Yes. But now, do
So
you understand
we
it now?
agree.
Do you understand it now? That is the point.
Yeah, Council, I just want to clarify one thing. Like if you check the section you just read, under the qualification of bidders, the specific reference is to the section 22, subsection 3.
Yes.
But if you check, still now the word is coming.
What is that?
In order to be qualified for award.
Yes. See, you have to read these sections holistically. That is why you have the problem, because if you look at section 24, it states in order to be awarded a procurement contract, suppliers shall be registered. It didn't even say at the time of award, but that's your own interpretation. But I am saying, if you read it holistically, you will see from 22, it even in no uncertain terms tell you that the principles and rules in this section apply to determination of procuring organizations of the qualifications of a bidder at all stages of the procurement. So when you say at all stages, what is that referring to?
That's throughout this cycle,
That is two?
throughout the stages of procurement.
And not only at one stage. Let's say, for example, not only at the award stage. Is that not correct?
Yeah, the 3 stages.
Three stages.
The pre-bidding, the bidding,
So
and
section
the post-bidding.
22 exactly now refers to all the 3 stages of the procurement. Is that not the case?
Yes. that's
So now will you understand it when it is now telling you that in addition to other requirements, there has to be a legal capacity, that the person taking part in procurement must have the legal capacity to take part in procurement. And the legal capacity that you told us is you have to register with the Attorney General's office, you have to register with GPA. Is that not the case?
Yeah, I say that's fundamental, yes.
Good. Thank you.
And further to that, to subsection 3D also is very specific.
On
It
tax.
says, yes, can you please read D?
Yeah, it says it has fulfilled its obligation to pay taxes and social security contributions if it applies. So I was just leaving that to my lead for her to discuss on some other time.
Yes.
Regarding the tax
Mr.
obligations.
Honorable Sila has
Okay, Mr. Sanyang, let me talk to you like a 5-year-old boy. Are you a member of the Gambia Football Referees Association? Yes or no?
Pardon?
Are you a member of the
No,
Gambia?
no.
Why? Do you have a badge? Do they write to you?
I don't.
It's not your business. It's the same thing. Livestock Association, you are not a member. You don't own livestock. So the GPPA is only meant for people who are registered. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Thank you.
I was
Yes,
going to
Council.
check if this was not a convenient point to break.
Yes, let me just ask this last question. You have a checklist for review of prior approval, right?
Yes, Council.
Yes. The checklist is very explicit as to what should be done. And is it just limited to SS or RFQ?
Yeah, the checklist, we have checklists for each method, but it's almost the same.
So is it a combination of single source and RFQ?
Yeah,
Yes.
for that one.
Yes.
Yes, there is a checklist for tender, but if you check it, it contains the same information.
Yes.
Yes, it contains the same information. I think I just-
And this prior review of prior approval, I believe that prior approval is done for instances where it is above the threshold, right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So then why are you using this checklist for single source and RFQ? Because you have explained to us in your evidence that POs are allowed to do their own thing. Can we have Mr. Mbalo to give me that document?
Yeah, Chair, I think I understand your point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure you are very observant. You realize that there were a lot of single source here and RFQ that we are subject of prior review. So that's why we have that checklist for prior review, because sometimes you may want to go in for single source, but you need prior review, prior approval. You may want to do RFQ, we have seen that here, but you may need prior approval. So the checklist is purposely for that, for prior review. So if you check, I have just given you one for the tender.
Yes.
There is not much difference when we are looking at things that we looked at for prior review, yeah.
Okay. Further to that, I think,
Yes?
sorry, I think your question was like whether single sources are only limited to those values of transactions that are within the threshold. There are certain transactions that are far, even millions of dollars is bought.
Yes, for single source.
If they fulfill the conditions for the use of single source, even though if the values are above the threshold, we can still use single source. And that is exactly when this form will be used.
That's when you use this form.
Yes, when a single source is going to be applied and it is more than the single source threshold. If it is within the threshold, it may not even require the approval of the authority. It will only come to the authority if it is more than the single source threshold but fulfill other conditions for the use of single source.
Yes, council asked you whether you have a checklist, and you have given some form of a checklist for prior approval. And in this checklist, you have listed 11 points. And these 11 points, But what I can see from this checklist is that to satisfy conditions for use of methods such as single source, RFQ, restricted tender, request for quotations, that is RFQ, and RFP. Which one is RFP?
Request for proposals.
Request for proposals. That is for consultancy.
Yes, Chair.
And open tender.
Yes, Chair.
And then it has indicated the confirmation of availability of funds, that is Form 100, which is requisition, and signed minutes of contracts committee. Request is GPPA forms 001, 002, 003, 004, 101, and 012. We will come back to these forms, and you will enlighten us. And going by these forms you have given us, it will be safe to say that none of the POs has done anything in compliance with your rules and your regulations. If we have to go back, go by this checklist.
Yes, Chair, because that's the checklist, that's what we should be looking for.
Thank you. We may rise, and we will reconvene tomorrow.